This is John Friedel, and you're watching GVTV News. So watch, and learn.
Thanks, John, and I'm Randy Hansen. In World News headlines today: suicide bomber strikes Afghan airport, U.S. officials killed inside Interior Ministry. And Santorum says Obama should not have apologized for Koran burning. And White House funds aided NYPD effort to spy on Muslim communities, and 59 killed in Syria as referendum held to extend Assad's rule. WikiLeaks begins posting internal emails of private intel firm Stratfor, and U.S. intelligence analysis says no hard feelings evidence that Iran is building a nuclear bomb. And Israel inks arms deal with Beijing, and Saleh's vice president sworn in as Yemen's new president. And U.S. drone strikes kill 4 in Somalia, and Egypt postpones trials of pro-democracy activists. And Israel detains Palestinian youth activist Vadi Karan, and NSA seeks power to monitor domestic computer networks. And Romney boasts of his personal car fleet, including his wife's Cadillacs. And ACLU urges Fed courts to block South Carolina voter ID law. And BP oil spill trial postponed as lawyers negotiate a settlement. And Occupy Our Food Supply Day of Action planned. In University of Virginia, students enter day 9 of living wage hunger strike, and Chicago factory to remain open for 90 days after worker occupation. And Spanish court clears Judge Garzon for prosecuting Franco-era crimes. And Nelson Mandela released from the hospital. And Iran and Pakistan film wins first Academy Awards. GVTV News would like to say the views expressed on our news broadcast do not necessarily reflect the views of NCTV Digital Media Center. Unlike some of our news media, anyone can use any information on our news any way you want. And guess what? It's free. You do not have to subscribe to us for your daily news. But before these stories, GVTV News would like to thank one of our underwriters who supports your only visual video news media in Nevada County. That's right, it's us. GVTV News. In today's first world news story, a suicide car bomber has killed at least 9 people in an attack in a military airport in East Afghanistan. Taliban claimed responsibility for the attack, saying it was revenge for the recent Koran burning at a NATO base. Violent protesters have shaken Afghanistan for the past week over the Koran burning and have complicated U.S. plans to draw down troops. Thousands of Afghans have taken to the streets, and at least 30 people have been killed in protests in recent days. On Sunday, 6 U.S. forces were injured in northern Afghanistan when a demonstrator threw a grenade at a U.S. base. Meanwhile, the United States, Britain, Germany, and France pulled out their advisors helping the Afghan government on Sunday, one day after 2 senior U.S. Army officers were shot dead inside a high-security command center at the Afghan Interior Ministry in Kabul. In campaign news, Republican presidential hopeful Rick Santorum criticized President Obama on Sunday for apologizing to the Afghan people for the Koran burning incident. He said there is no act that needed for apology. It was an inadvertent act. It should have been left at that. And I think the response needed to be apologized for by Karzai and the Afghan people of attacking and killing our men and women in uniform and overreacting to this inadvertent mistake. That is the real crime here, not what our soldiers did. Associated Press has revealed millions of dollars in the White House money has helped pay for the New York City's police department's program that put the entire Muslim neighborhoods under surveillance across the Northeast. Money is part of a little-known grant intended to help law enforcement fight drug crime since September 11th attacks. Bush and Obama administration have provided $135 million to the New York and New Jersey region through a high-intensity drug trafficking area program. Some of the money has been paid for the cars that plainclothes NYPD officers use to conduct surveillance on Muslim neighborhoods. It also paid for computers and store information about Muslim college students, mosque sermons, and social events. White House has refused to say it endorsed the New York City police spy campaign. And at least 59 civilians and soldiers were reportedly killed on Sunday in Syria while voters went to the polls to approve a new constitution proposed by President Bashar al-Assad that could keep him in power until 2028. Syrian artillery is continuing to pummel rebel-held areas of Homs. The International Committee of Red Cross is attempting to secure a pause in the fighting to allow the wounded to be evacuated, and desperately needed aid to be delivered. International leaders remain divided over how to deal with the Syrian crisis. On Friday, Saudi Arabia backed the idea of arming the anti-Assad rebels, a proposal strongly opposed by Russia. President Obama talked about Syria on Friday and said, "And we are going to continue to keep the pressure up and look for every tool available to prevent the slaughter of innocents in Syria." And this is an area I think the Prime Minister and I have deeply agreed it's important that we not be bystanders during these extraordinary events. The whistleblowing website WikiLeaks has begun publishing what it says 5.5 million emails obtained from the servers of Stratfor, a private U.S.-based intelligence gathering firm with about 300,000 subscribers. Emails were reportedly obtained by the hackers Cooperate Anonymous. Israeli newspaper Haaretz reports some of the leaked emails suggest Israel may have sent commandos into Iran, perhaps with the assistance of the Kurdish fighters and Iranian Jews, to carry out operations to destroy Iranian nuclear installations. In a front-page article published on Saturday, the New York Times reports U.S. intelligence analysts continue to believe that there is no hard evidence that Iran decided to build a nuclear bomb. According to the article, recent assessments by U.S. spy agencies are broadly consistent with the 2007 intelligence findings that concluded Iran had abandoned its nuclear weapons program years earlier. And Israel has signed a $1.6 billion arms deal with Azerbaijan. And the deal includes the sale of drones, as well as anti-aircraft and missile defense systems for the former Soviet state, which borders Iran. And Yemen's new president, Rabu Mansour Hadi, has been sworn into office, taking power from Ali Abdullah Saleh, who ruled Yemen for 33 years. Hadi, who is Saleh's vice president, took office after election last week in which he was the sole candidate. Saleh returned to Yemen for the handover ceremony. Hadi is expected to be a close ally of the United States. On Saturday, he vowed to continue battling al-Qaeda. President Hadi said, "Continuing the fight against al-Qaeda, it is a national and religious duty which will make the displaced people of Abyei return to their homes." And in news from Africa, the United States has carried out another deadly drone strike inside Somalia. U.S. officials said 4 fighters from the Al-Shabaab died in the attack. An Egyptian court on Sunday adjourned the trial of pro-democracy activists accused of illegally receiving funds from abroad. 16 U.S. citizens are among the 43 defendants targeted in a judicial probe of illegal funding of civil society groups that would strain ties between Egypt and Washington. Many of the Americans work for 3 groups and receive government funding: the International Republican Institute, the National Democratic Institute, and the Freedom House. Egypt's IRI office is headed by Sam LaHood, son of U.S. Transportation Secretary Ray LaHood. The IRI and the NDI have long been accused of meddling in foreign affairs. A prominent Palestinian youth activist named Fadi Karan was arrested and detained by Israel's authority Friday while demonstrating in Hebron, West Bank. Video posted online shows Israeli soldiers violently grabbing Karan and then smashing his head into a bumper of a van. Karan is a U.S. citizen who graduated from Stanford University. Time magazine recently profiled Karan, describing him as a key leader of a new nonviolent youth movement in the occupied territories. Wall Street Journal reports the National Security Agency is seeking the power to monitor computer networks domestically in order to block a preempt cyber attack. Under the proposal, the NSA would be able to scan for cyber threats but not monitor the content of communications. The proposal has touched off a debate in the Obama administration due to the concerns about privacy and civil liberties. Under the law, the NSA cannot intercept domestic communications without a warrant. In campaign news, Republican candidates have entered their last full day of campaigning before Tuesday's primaries in Michigan and Arizona. Former Massachusetts Governor Mitt Romney picked up the endorsement of Arizona's Governor Jan Brewer over the weekend, but he has been repeatedly forced to defend his massive wealth. Has been widely criticized for a comment he made in Detroit Friday about his fleet of cars, including his wife's Cadillacs. Mitt Romney said, "I like the fact that most of the cars I see are Detroit-made automobiles. I drive a Mustang and Chevy pickup truck, and drives a couple of Cadillacs, actually." American Civil Liberties Union has urged a federal court to block a South Carolina voter ID law from taking effect. The ACLU said the law would have disproportionate effect on minority voters. Like, I guess they can't get ID. I don't know. What's the problem here? Judge in Louisiana has delayed the start of the BP oil spill trial to give lawyers more time to reach settlement. Bloomberg has reported BP is close to agreeing to a $14 billion settlement with plaintiffs who sued over the massive 2010 Gulf of Mexico oil spill. And actions are planned across the country for a day of protest dubbed Occupy Our Food Supply. Organizers are seeking to end corporate exploitation of our food systems, create a local, just, fair food solution, and resist corporate control of our food supply. 18 students at University of Virginia have entered their 9th day on hunger strike, calling for a living wage for the university's lowest paid workers. Protests received a boost last week when University of Virginia football player Joseph Williams joined the strike. And in labor news, the owner of the factory in Chicago has agreed to keep the plant open for 90 more days after workers locked themselves inside on Thursday. About 65 workers at the Goose Island plant occupied the plant after the firm, Sirius Energy, announced plans to close the plant and consolidate its operations. In 2008, some of the same workers were involved in a famous 6-day sit-in for Republic windows and doors, gave workers just 3 days' notice before closing the factory. And then they gave them $6,000, so I guess they made $1,000 a day. I guess I would do that for that kind of money a day. Spain's Supreme Court has cleared the prominent judge Baltasar Garzón in violating a 1977 amnesty law that investigation of the Franco-era crimes. 2 right-wing groups had accused Garzón of overstepping his powers by trying to prosecute crimes committed between 1936 and 1975. Garzón said crimes against humanity should not be subject to an amnesty. Earlier this month, Garzón was suspended from the bench for 11 years after being found guilty of illegal phone tapping. And former South African President Nelson Mandela was hospitalized briefly this weekend due to the described long-standing abdominal pain. He was held for one night and released on Sunday. And the 2012 Academy Awards were announced on Sunday. The artist won Best Picture. There are a number of notable winners. 82-year-old Christopher Plummer became the oldest Oscar winner ever for his supporting role in Beginners. Sharmeen Abad Shenoy became the first Pakistani filmmaker to win an Oscar for her documentary Saving Face about acid attack victims, and A Separation became the first Iranian film to win Best Foreign Film. Asghar Farhadi wrote and directed the film and said, "At this time, many Iranians all over the world are watching us, and I imagine them to be very happy. They are very happy not just because of an important award or film or a filmmaker, but because at the time then talk of war, intimidation, and aggression is exchanged between politicians. The name of their country, Iran, is spoken through their glorious culture, a rich and ancient culture that has been hidden under the heavy dust of politics. I proudly offer this award to the people of my country, people who respect all cultures and civilizations and despise hostility and resentment. Thank you so much." And that's it for our world news today. Now another thanks to one of our underwriters who supports your only visual video news media in Nevada County. That's right, it's us. GVTV News.
Soundcheck Music Center, the rock and roll connection. We have guitars, amps, drum equipment, sound accessories, lessons, and repairs. We are located at 671 Maltman Drive, Grass Valley. 530-272-7236, open 7 days a week.
No one needs anyone, they don't even just pretend. Jonas in America. I'm afraid of Americans. I'm afraid of the world. I'm afraid I can't help it. I'm afraid I can't. I'm afraid of Americans. I'm afraid of the world. I'm afraid
That's right, it's time for the police blotter, and pictures in the blotter not from these actual events but used for visual aid only. Grass Valley Police Department on Thursday, 10:21 a.m. Caller from Church and Chapel Street reported 2 people sleeping in a cemetery who were advised to move on. And 1:48 p.m., caller from 600 block of Freeman Lane reported a drunken woman in a vehicle drinking alcohol, honking the horn and yelling. The driver was sober. And 2:17 p.m., caller from 800 block of Sutton Way reported a woman smoking marijuana. And 3:31 p.m., a caller from Idaho Maryland Road reported a physical fight with a man throwing a woman to the ground. The argument was found to have been verbal with some pushing. And 4:10 p.m., a caller from Memorial Park reported 6 or 7 people passing around hard liquor and smoking marijuana. They were moving on. At 5:16 p.m., a caller from Dog Bar and Wheeler Acres Road reported a physical fight which could not be located. And 5:19 p.m., a caller from 200 block of East Main Street reported receiving a bad check from a woman. And 5:57 p.m., a caller from 200 block of Sierra College Drive reported indecent exposure on Lytton Trail by a man who then put on shorts and sneakers and ran down the trail. 10:03 p.m., a caller from 300 block of Pleasant Street reported a man pushing a woman to the ground and pushing another man out of an apartment. The parties were separated. And Friday, 1:17 a.m., a caller from 200 block of Dorsey Drive reported the theft of a tax check. At 5:21 a.m., a caller from 200 block of Fairmont Avenue reported hearing 2 gunshots. In Nevada County Sheriff's Office on Thursday, 10:45 a.m., a man from 10,000 block of Streeter Road reported theft from a business, which was found to be a civil matter. And 12:47 p.m., a woman from 15,000 block Little Valley Road reported a dispute with an extremely drunken man who was going to kill her. They were arguing over drinking, and the man was advised not to return until he was sober. 1:14 p.m., caller from Highway 20 reported a sport bike driving at high rate of speed towards Pleasant Valley Road. Be on the lookout advisory was issued. And 1:30 p.m., caller from 16,000 block of Excelsior Ditch Road reported the theft of a generator and a chainsaw and other tools. At 1:38 p.m., caller from Via Vista Road reported a rock thrown through the windshield of a vehicle. And 5:11 p.m., a caller from 11,000 block of Bluebird Court reported internet fraud. And 5:28 p.m., caller from 10,000 block of Willow Valley Road reported a man trying to take a fence down. He could not be located. 5:44 p.m., a caller from 11,000 block of Upper Circle Drive reported possible identity theft. 6:19 p.m., caller from Bitney Springs and Mystic Mines Road reported hearing about 12 gunshots. At 6:54 p.m., a caller from 16,000 block of Fairway Glen Place reported a vehicle burglary with a DVD player, camera, iPad, and other items taken. 8:44 p.m., caller from Suzanne and Cedar Ways reported a fight. At 11:29 p.m., a caller from 10,000 block of Pleasant Valley Road reported a trespasser. Nevada City Police Department on Thursday, 9:47 p.m., a caller from 400 block of Nursery Street reported someone might be in a residence. At 3:19 a.m., the caller reported hearing something in the house again. It was found to be a heater turning off and on. And that's it for the blotter today. Now, another thanks to one of our underwriters who supports your only visual video news media in Nevada County. That's right, it's us. GVTV News. In today's local news headlines, one arrested in armed pot robbery. And Jordan named new exec in GV Downtown Association. The Nevada County residents connect with feature at Tech Forum 2012. And storms can't wash away drought threat. In a story written by Liz Keller of the Union, Grass Valley man was taken into custody in gunpoint Monday, allegedly one of a quartet of masked gunmen who earlier had robbed a Big Oak Valley resident of weapons and medical marijuana. Nevada County Sheriff's deputies responded to a 911 call at armed robbery at about 5:30 a.m. at 21,000 block of McDaniel Road. Sheriff Keith Royal said the two victims told deputies the four masked men armed with guns forcibly entered the residence while they were sleeping. The suspects threatened to shoot the residents, then bound and tied them with duct tape. The four men stole an unknown amount of medical marijuana, rifle, a shotgun, and a semi-automatic handgun, as well as electronics. After the suspects fled, the victims freed themselves and called for help. Information found at the scene led investigators to identify Michael Joseph Seagrave, 31, as one of the suspects. A be on the lookout advisory was issued. Grass Valley police officers spotted a vehicle matching the description in an advisory near Forest Glade Circle and West Main Street at about 10 a.m., said Grass Valley Police Captain Rex Marks. Vehicle was unoccupied and officers set up a surveillance contacting the sheriff's office, but two people got into the vehicle and left the scene, prompting Sergeant Joe Mattioni to make a felony traffic stop on West Main Street. Seagrave, who was described as uncooperative, was detained, as was another person who had not yet been identified. During the arrest, administrators at Lyman Gilmore School chose to put the school on lockdown. That was a pretty good cooperation between the agencies, Mark said. Evidence from the robbery allegedly was located inside the vehicle. Seagrave was arrested on suspicion of robber, possession of a loaded firearm in a vehicle, possession of stolen property, criminal conspiracy, and committing a felony while in bail. In a story written by Trina Kleist of the Union, the woman who had been coordinating events in Grass Valley for 8 years has been named Executive Director for Downtown Association. Julia Jordan has been a fixture downtown, troubleshooting Santa's workshop and dressing as Alice in Wonderland on the top of handling day-to-day needs and concerns for the Grass Valley Downtown Association with 215 business members. When she takes the helm March 16th, Jordan also will become responsible for the budget of about $152,000 this year. Association operates with 12 events yearly spanning from 40 to 45 days, all of them designed to bring people to historic center of Gold Rush City. I'm over the moon excited, Jordan said. I can't wait to continue serving downtown business in this new capacity. About 50 people applied for the position after it was posted on the website link in National Trust for Historic Preservation Main Street program. Association President Chris Adams said Jordan was selected from a diverse pool of candidates from around the country through a multi-step application interview process that encouraged input and participation from all downtown Grass Valley merchants, restaurants, and businesses. Association directors said in a prepared statement, "Out of all the candidates we had, she truly came across," Adams said. "She's like a diamond in the rough, and going through this process really let us see her heart is here." When announcing Jordan's appointment late Friday, Association Director praised her for building relationships with business owners and managers, the Grass Valley and Nevada County Chamber of Commerce, and the City Hall. She has first-hand business experience and knowledge through her time managing in the business of private sector and has earned a Bachelor of Science in Economics and Business Administration, they said in their statement. Position was advertised to pay a range of $35,000 to $45,000, Adams said. Outgoing Executive Director Howard Levine will step down March 15th after more than 12 years leading the association. Jordan has done a very nice job, Levine said. It's fun working with Julie. I think she'll do really well. Levine and his wife Peggy run the Swan Levine House Bed and Breakfast in South Church Street, formerly Jones Hospital. In retirement, Levine plans to focus on his art. He is a printmaker, paints in oil, does environmental sculptures, and teaches drawing in Sierra College in Grass Valley. March 1st, an exhibition of Levine's art goes on display in the lobby of the college's new multipurpose room. Also in March, Starbucks store on Freeman Lane will hang his work. He'll also play host a networking meeting of the California Main Street Association March 12th and 14th, and reception will offer the Swan Levine House. Workshops will be at the Gold Miners Inn Holiday Inn Express. We'll be missing you. Don't forget to come downtown and say hi to everybody. In a story by Christopher Rosacker. Although it's no secret, technology has already changed our lives. More than 100 Western Nevada County residents who attended Friday's Tech Forum came to hear what advancements will mean in years to come. There are no practical limits to technological advancements, said Rick Hutley, a technologist and Cisco Vice President of Global Innovations, who is a forum keynote speaker. That means you can do anything that you put your mind to, he said. Think big, because there is nothing standing in your way. Hutley's leads Cisco Global Strategic Consulting arm and advises top business leaders in every industry about technology. At the Tech Forum, he outlined anticipation advancements such as affordable 3D printer and can materialize food in smart rooms and not only know where someone is, but what to do and interacts to help. Although many of Hutley's prognostications won't materialize for years, he insists that they're not far-fetched nor inapplicable to places like Grass Valley. You're not some sleepy town. You are connected to San Francisco, New York, and anywhere else in the world, Hutley said. You are a community actually interested in doing something with technology, and it's not just prescribed. And with connections easier and faster through technological advances, Hutley said. Once remote rural areas like Nevada County are becoming more attractive to businesses with a sizable population of retirees, Hutley said, Nevada County could benefit from intelligence and automatic monitoring of seniors to take medicine, get exercise, even alert of medical professional help when necessary. Most importantly, he said the professions such as health industry take increasingly more niche experts. Tapping the skilled experiences of retirees is an important resource that can't be neglected. Making retirees useful in the working population dwindles its vitality. As technology enables remote collaborations through video and other mediums, Hutley said. The Western Nevada County businesses have an opportunity to take part. The faster we get our ideas out, the faster we can innovate, he said. Tech Forum 2012 benefits Tech Test, an annual merit scholarship exam for Nevada County's technical logic-bound high school juniors and seniors. And it's the 6th year. Tech Test aims to encourage students to become scientists and engineers and things like that. And NCTV and Digital Media Center, we were down there. We filmed this whole thing, and if you want any videos, just contact us. And a story written by Trina Kleist and Dave Carter of the Union. Winter storms were expected to start Sunday night, will bring rain, cold, and 1 to 2 inches of snow in the foothills as low as 1,000 feet. Winter storm watch is in effect in northern Sierra Nevadas, northern coast California, while high wind watch is in effect in Lake Tahoe area, eastern slope of the mountain range, and National Weather Service reported that this week's storms are expected to offer little help to overall dry outlook in Western County, and officials at Nevada Irrigation District are taking steps to prepare for a drought. So, if I don't get snowed in, we'll see you tomorrow. And that's it for local news today. We'd like to thank the Union, Associated Press, Amy Goodman, Reuters, and others for the source number news, and you for watching. You can watch us on Channel 11, 8 a.m., 3 p.m., and 7:30 p.m., Mondays to Fridays, Suddenly 16, and Truckee and Alta Sierra. And you can get us on NevadaCountyTV.org and GrassValleyTelevision.org and GVTV.org or GrassValleyTelevision.com.